what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today we're talking about Soilwork and their new EP, A Whisp of the Atlantic via Nuclear Blast Records.
Fire is what unites us. Fight from whence we came. Guess I was wrong to cloud us.
And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Often grouped in with other frontrunners of the melodic death metal peak of the 90s and early 2000s like In Flames, At the Gates, Dark Tranquillity, Children of Bodom, and Arch Enemy, Soilwork has been turning out material since their inception in 1995. Known best for classic albums like the Chainheart Machine, Natural Born Chaos, Figure Number 5, and Stabbing the Drama, A Whisp of the Atlantic is arguably finding the band at their most progressive. I definitely wasn't particularly wowed by the lead single, The Nothingness and The Devil, as despite the most excellent heavy metal inspired riffing, the song seemed to drag on without ever really going anywhere. Where are the crescendos? What else do you have to offer me besides this admittedly fun hook? Fortunately, the title track answered many of these questions and then some over its 16.5-minute runtime. Says David Anderson, I've always felt that Soilwork was a bit underrated as a band and that no one really understood what we were able to do. So I've had this dream for quite a few years to write a really epic song and show off what this band was really capable of. Mission accomplished, David. I'll admit that over the years I've been less and less impressed with what this band has to offer, but this may very well be the band's finest hour. This track is an absolutely soaring progressive opus just packed with ups and downs and dripping with emotional atmosphere. 100% in line with what David said, this honestly goes above and beyond what I thought Soilwork had in them. From the proggy guitars to the additional accents of muted trumpets, strings, and piano, this track takes you on an incredible journey, and I have to say that Bjorn's vocals have never felt more at home. I could probably sit here all day just talking about this track on its own, but suffice it to say, it's something you absolutely should experience whether you were looking forward to this EP or not. It's gripping, powerful stuff that rivals even the likes of Opeth in the diversity and dynamics on display. The moody bass lines get my body grooving, and the soft, understated piano let my mind drift away between the powerful walls of distortion.
Let the cosmos burn until there's only you.
But we've got more tracks to talk about here. Those aforementioned heavy metal sounding guitar riffs make another appearance on the track Feverish, and aside from once more just sounding really cool within the context of Soilwork's overall sound, here they are implemented much more effectively into a composition that actually takes some great twists and turns, one especially fun one getting capped off with a really nice little guitar solo. I absolutely love the synth on this one as well, from the more atmospheric backing tones and 80s sounding intro to the more front and center cascading piano melodies that recur throughout. And all of this coming to a close with some gorgeously sorrowful strings. Now, if you came still wanting more of Soilwork's usual 1-2 punch of ripping melodic death metal hooks and Bjorn's multifaceted vocals, they've still got you covered with Desperado. This is a total rager of a track that had me seriously banging my head and feeling much like I did back in the day jamming to Natural Born Chaos for the very first time. That's a tall order. And still like the other tracks on display here, the band has added plenty of layers of additional atmosphere and massive production for it to fit in, but it's still the most traditional and concise track at 3 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm very much wondering why the band did not choose this as a first single, honestly, because you will be singing along. Death Diviner is an interesting track as well, with an opening riff straight out of the Lateralis era Tool playbook. Before the vocals kick in, this honestly would have been right at home on that album. This is a constantly driving head bobber of a track, perfectly accented by southern slide guitar and a chorus poised to take the roof right off the venue whenever shows decide to resume again. Once more, Bjorn has outdone himself with the sheer emotional weight of his vocals alongside the mammoth wall of distortion, strings, and synth. Catchy as fuck, and quite frankly sure to bring a tear to my eye if the lighters come out. All said and done, A Whisp of the Atlantic could have easily been called a full length at 37 minutes and honestly would have been one of the tightest ones in their discography for it. This is a really impressive piece of work that I have no qualms calling one of the best releases in the genre of 2020. And as much as it pains me to say this as a diehard Dark Tranquillity fan, this far surpasses Moment in every possible way. I give it a 10 for enjoyability. Even with these slight missteps of the Nothingness and the Devil, it's not enough to mar my intense pleasure of listening to this album through from start to finish. I give it a 10 for musicianship, cooking solos, intensely catchy verses, killer guitar hooks, and perhaps the best songwriting the band has delivered to date make a perfect score warranted in this department. And I give it a 9 for innovation. This is several strides forward for a band that have found themselves at a crossroads. They could either drive their sound ad nauseum into the gutter like In Flames, or reinvent themselves by accepting the challenge of striving for something bigger and better than ever before. Thankfully, they chose the latter, and I hope that they never look back. So a 9.7 overall and a rock-solid A for Soilwork and A Whisp of the Atlantic. Get it once more via Nuclear Blast Records. Y'all, thanks as always for watching, and let me know down in the description what you thought of this album and what is your favorite melodic death metal album of the year. And of course, please do stick around. I got plenty more videos coming right after this one. You should check out my review for Dark Tranquillity's Moment, as well as my tier list for melodic death metal bands. That'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.